Yo, 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 what up? Welcome back to Instructions for Humanity, everybody. It is your girl, Tahirah, your spiritual teacher. I just finished my walk and I'm picking up where I left off. I was talking about what Jesus told me. But now we are going to talk about we live in thought waves. We live in thought waves, absolutely. This is our dream state, guys. This everyday life you're living is a dream. It's our dream state. That's why you go to bed at night and you're like, oh, I had lucid dreaming, meaning you are aware that you are in a dream. That is, they're already letting you know that that's what you need to do here. So when you're living your everyday life, you need to understand that this is a dream state. You need to be aware that you are in a dream. And so when you awaken, when you have lucid dreaming, as we're doing here, when you are awakened, it's basically like you're having lucid dreaming. You are aware that you are a pure spirit, divine consciousness. There is no beginning and there is no end. You are the absolute. You are the all. You are divine. You are goodness and you are bad. You are everything in between. You are the empty spaces in between all living things. You can't do without it. That is source. That is you. You are pure spirit consciousness, beloved. So, we are all thoughts in the mind of the divine source energy, the all. We live in thought waves. This is another message that was given to me. This is a book that I'm writing about a group of cosmic gods. They delivered 5 messages to me, woke me up in the middle of my sleep, and each god took turns delivering this message that the earth needs to have in order for us to move from one age to the next. So one of these very important messages is that I asked them, where do you live? Because we have very deep, candid conversations. I asked them, well, are you, I'm trying to get a picture. Are you beings? Are you like, what is this? Where do you live? Like, how can I access you? And they're like, you don't get it. They also told me, like, look, you're one of us now. We need you to now understand as we understand. Like, you need to get with the program because, we are here to deliver these messages through you so that you can deliver, but we need you to get on our level. And so they told me how to access them. And they told me that they live in thought waves. They said it's not like how you guys down here, you think you live in your home, you live in your apartment, you live in your trailer, wherever you live. It's not like that here. We live in the absolute thought. We are all thoughts in the mind of source, the divine. When the creator thinks, it is a thought wave. That thought wave is now taken and it starts to reverberate throughout dimensions and timelines. So let's say you have one thought of love. Then you have another being, right? Let's say it's on the 13th dimension. Then that being lives in the energy of that thought that the divine has shot down. That's the wave, that frequency. That is where that energy that's on that 13th dimension dwells in. So when you want to access that particular God, because we are all gods that are falling as we go down in frequency, and then we rise, gods that are rising, just like the sun comes down and the sun rises. The sun at night becomes a fallen god. The moon takes over the so-called dark Satan energy, and then the sun rises again. So we are all gods that are falling and rising because we are all thoughts in the one divine mind of source of the all. So this particular thought of love that dwells, the energy lives on the 13th dimension. Now, that thought of love on the 13th dimension also has another thought of love. When it creates, you go down one. Just like when your mother creates you, you now are the next to her, and you create, then your daughter becomes underneath. It is the same thing, but we are thoughts in the mind of the divine source energy. So now you have another reverberation, is what they're calling it. We are a reverberation. So now that thought reverberation of love that sits on the 12th dimension also creates, and now creates a thought that sits on the 11th dimension. Now that thought that sits on of love that sits on the 11th dimension has a reverberation thought, sends out another creator thought wave, and now has a thought of love that sits on the 10th dimension. That 10th dimensional thought reverberates, meaning to give birth, to create, to also think. That's the reverberation. Shoots down a reverberation of love, and now that reverberation of love sits on the 9th dimension. That 9th dimensional thought now has a reverberation, shoots down to the 8th dimension, and now we have love on the 8th dimension. That 8th dimensional thought also has a thought, a creator thought, shoots down, and now we have love, what, on the 7th dimension. Then we have love shot down, reverberation, shoots down to the 6th dimension, shoots down to the 5th dimension, to the 4th dimension, to now the 3rd dimension, where you are. This is where humanity is, but we're rising up to the 5th dimension right now. Some of us are already on our way there, some of us are already there, and some people are even actually higher. The more and more you can't understand someone, the more and more you like, this person is different. That's the higher dimensional plane that they are sitting on, and that's why you cannot pick up their frequency, and that's why they will be weird to you, and that's why I'm weird to many, but that's okay. So now we have love that sits here on the 3rd dimension. And now the ones of us that are in the energy of love, the ones of us that have been sent here to spread love, to share our love, we do that in what? Different ways. What is two-dimensional? Two-dimensional, beloved, is when we write. There are some people that are poets. There are some people who, who write books, and they share books of love. They write movies. That is a two-dimensional reverberation of love. Of love. Now, believe it or not, and Spirit is guiding me right now, believe it or not, you can go into negative dimensions. Yes, and that's how you get the disagreeable beings, guys. You can go into negative dimensions, and that's how you get the so-called demonic beings. They are just on the negative dimensions, but it took the greatest, highest vibration of what? Love, to now get to the 3rd dimension where we sit, to get to the 2nd dimension, one-dimensional, and to now go into the negatives to get what? To the polar opposite, because source is all things, the good and the bad and everything in between. So when we get to the 0 point, the 0 point is when we have mastered duality. The 0 point is when we have merged the two. There's no longer the polarities of just the good and the evil. When we merge it together, what is that? That is acceptance. We accept everything that happens to us. We don't look at one thing. You see something on the news of this just pain and people being tortured. You don't react to it. That's what the Matrix wants you to do, to keep you in the duality, to keep the polar opposites. You divide it. But no, when you get down to the 0 point, so we go from the 3rd dimension, the 2nd dimension, one dimension, the 0 point is when the duality, 0 point is good. It's when there's not negative or positive. It's when it's just really just existence. But we have experience being in our love state, being the reverberation of that creator thought wave. And that thought wave of love can take us all the way from that highest dimension, all the way down to the negative dimensions where the so-called demonic beings dwell. But they are still that creator thought wave of love. Because what? They're just showing the other side of the coin of love, which is, negative or demonic. But when we sit at the 0 point, and we can go to the 0 point in our consciousness at all times, and we understand that the good and the bad are one, and we just accept it as it is. That's the 0 point. But there are negative dimensions too, where the lower dimensional beings sit, which is still from the divine love thought wave that originated from source, that came down through the 13th dimension and then goes all the way down to the negative, all the way down to the negative 13th dimensional frequency. And then you could take the same thing. You can take another thought and from source, and then it'll go down through the dimensions. So that is what they were telling me. That's where they live. So that's how people can pick up on like different channels. People say channeling is bad. You're not really channeling. It's not your fault that you're tuned into that station. Like, it's not my fault. Like, when I get messages, I'm not trying. They just come in because my frequency, like, I like to move around my frequency. I'm very fluid. I'm a water sign, and also my name Tahirah means purity. So that's also under the water energy. So my spirit is just very fluid. So sometimes I find myself on the 10th dimension. I might talk to a 10th dimensional being. You know, I rarely find myself on the negative frequencies. I never really do, because it doesn't really resonate with me, because the water energy, we are like the Holy Spirit energy, and these are not people. I'm not talking about a Christian sort of thing. I'm talking about a feminine aspect of the divine source. That's what the Holy Spirit actually is. It is the feminine energy of source that creates, right? Gives birth. So I like to just be fluid, and sometimes I pick up things on the 5th dimension, the 6th dimension, 12, or whatever. That's just how it is. So it's not really a channel. It's just you are tuned into the frequency that other beings are on. But it's all coming. It's all just one thought in the mind of God, in the mind of source. Really, source, not God, because gods have to be made. So that is the tidbit that's in my book that I do want to share with you about thought waves. There's only one mind. You guys realize that, right? We are just one source, pure spirit consciousness. And when we think, it gets shut out and becomes a thought wave. It becomes a reverberation, it reverberates throughout the timelines, throughout the ethers. So that's just what I wanted to share with you. I go into more detail in my book, but that's just a little tidbit that I want to give you guys. I'm like, is there anything more that I want to say? I mean, I do want to make this video just a little bit longer. Oh, let me tell you guys really quickly. I have this video. I did this little imagery exercise with you guys. I'm going to link it, and I want you guys to do it and write in the comments if you have experienced, you know, what did you experience? Because this imagery that I did with you guys, it allows you to meet with by going up a staircase, we are emptying out your sack of burdens that's burdening you on the 3D plane. And then when we get to the top of the staircase, I ask you to pick a door, and you pick the door that's right for you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when you go into that door, you are going to receive a message from your higher reverberation, right? Your higher self. It's what they call it, but it's a reverberation, a higher reverberation of thought, because we are just one thought in the mind of the divine source of all. So I did this exercise several times, and it's crazy to me that the last time I did it and I opened up the door, I picked door number 3. And in door number 3, I saw red coming out of the door. I saw the essence of the color red. And so when I opened the door, just the color red just absorbed me. And I was the color red. I was able to experience myself as the color red and to receive a message of what the color red wants to share with me. And it was beautiful, because in this imagery, I ask for your higher self. And guys, you have to understand, your higher self won't always be a person. You won't always see a person. This time I saw a color. The last 2 times I did the exercise, I saw a being. But this time I saw a color. So my higher divine thought was the color red, and I asked the color red to place some things in my sack that I could take back with me to this 3rd dimensional plane that would help me. And it placed in my sack, it says, you are the elixir, the cure, the ending in order to get to a new beginning. And I thought that was cool, because in the last video I told you guys that there's 2 sides of the coin of Christ and Satan are on the same coin. So I thought that it's interesting that the color red, we normally look at the color red and it represents to us Satan, right? But in that last video I did, the Satan energy and the Christ energy are one in the same. So I thought it was interesting that the color red placed in my sack, that I am the ending that leads to a new beginning. As I talk about, Satan, also represented by the color red, is the ending that leads to the new beginning. It leads to the Christ rising, to the sun rising in the morning. Pain comes during the day, but when we go to sleep, we wake up and the sun comes out again. We're happy again. So the ending and a new beginning is one. You cannot have one without the other. So the pain is necessary to get to the light once more. So it put that in my sack. And then it says that I am the elixir and the cure, which is cool because an elixir is something that normally someone makes for you to get rid of something, to counteract. So let's say you have a disease. That elixir you take, not only is it like something physical, it's also spiritual, because normally it's made by spiritualists, spiritual people. Back in the day would make an elixir. That elixir counteracts the negative that's inside of your body. So it says, as the color red, I am an elixir. So I counteract the negativity. So once again, it's showing that I am still a polarity. I am the ending that leads to a new beginning. And I'm also the elixir that leads to what? A cure. Because it said I'm the elixir and I'm the cure. And I'm the ending that leads to the new beginning. So there's always two sides of the coin, guys. But that's what the color red placed in my sack for me to take down here. So what does that mean? Like, how do we live in that practically? It means that when things are going on in our life and there are inevitable endings happening in friendships, in relationships, in jobs and careers, it wants you to surrender. And I got this word from the divine a few years ago when my life got turned upside down. And a lot of people felt like, man, you don't care what's going on, and how come you're not, fighting to save it, and you're not working hard enough? It's because I heard the word of the divine, and I always listen to the divine. It says surrender. It wanted me to end that chapter. So what? I can have a new beginning. And now I'm living in the manifestation of my obedience to listen to that thought wave that came down. Because I'm living in my new beginning, and my new beginning is beautiful. It's beautiful. So the ending is the surrender state that leads to the new beginning, right? That's the evolution of self, of your divine self. So that's just very beautiful to me. And then I did the exercise 2 other times. I can't remember. One was like showing to me, I opened up the door. I think it was at door number 5. I opened up the door and I was like an athletic woman, and I was sitting on top of a tall beam, and I was balancing, and I had like muscles everywhere. I was balancing, and they told me that things to put in my sack that I could take down here to help me. They put balance, consistency, and there was one other thing. But I'm just sharing that to say, like, how can we use it practically, right? That's metaphoric, right? But this exercise has very real meanings that you can take with you. Everybody needs balance in their everyday life. Now, if you want to get, let's say you have a health goal. If you are not consistent, going to the gym and eating right, drinking your water, you're not going to get to that lady that I saw, that higher version of myself that was balanced, that was like totally fit and just balancing on one leg on like a tall skinny beam, because she had the balance. So it means you have to be balanced here. You have to eat a balanced diet. You have to be consistent at that. That's practical. And so even going back to me being the color red, allowing those endings to happen, allowing that surrender state so you can get to your new beginning. That's how you can use this exercise and bring it down to the 3D plane where we live. Some of y'all live. It's not here no more. To make it more practical. And so being the elixir, just know, like, it's just like you have the answer to everything going on in your life. You just know that you are the elixir. No matter if somebody's shooting you negativity, if you're going through experiencing negativity on your job, whatever it is, you're the elixir. You can always counteract that with the highest vibration of the divine thought, which is love. Love, what they say, covers a multitude of sins. Love is the healer, and love, beloved, that's the elixir that I use. When people shoot hate at me, I give them my elixir, which is love, and love will heal everything. That's why I always say I love you guys. I do. I love everybody. I love humanity. There is no one that I hate, I could ever hate. Even the people, some people have literally tried to kill me. Yeah, I've been held at knife point. I've been held at gunpoint. Had people try to put curses on me, try to kill me and all that. But see, the elixir I use is love. It doesn't work. And I still love them. I love each and every one of them. And I can say it wholeheartedly. If I saw something happening to them, I would go and save them. I would. Because that's just me. That's my elixir. Your elixir always leads to the cure. So does that tell you, no matter what you face in your life, you have the answer. You have all the answers. That's your elixir. I use the elixir of love. You can use a different elixir. Whatever resonates with you. A lot of water signs, we use love, especially Cancerians, we use love. But yeah, so we can use these things practically. So I'm going to link that video. I highly suggest you guys do that exercise. So you can, get some divine information from your highest divine thought, okay? We are all thoughts in the mind of the one true divine source of all. Ha! YouTube algorithm, how you like me now, girl? I'm getting in those videos. I love you guys. I do. It's like I love y'all so much I don't even want to leave, but I gotta go do some writing. I got a lot to do today. My days are long. But guys, right now, I am giving you guys energy. I'm shooting out love, the highest vibration love. Just feel it now. Imagine that love that the divine source shoots out and goes through the 13th dimension, through the 12th, 11th, 10th, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Third dimension now is where we are. It's where you can feel the love now. Feel the love and take it. I love you. You are strength. You are wisdom. You are everything good. You are the elixir. You are the cure. You are the ending that leads to new beginnings. You are balance. You are strength. You are consistency. You are positivity. You are grace. You are divine child of the Most High of all. You are thought, a creator thought in the one mind of the divine source of all. You are. And I love you. Love is the way. Forgiveness, it's the key. And truth is the absolute light that will always, always guide us home. Be well, guys.